Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Million Mom Movement. Happy Thursday. It's so good to see all of you here with us tonight. My name is Dominique Jeffries. For those of you who don't know me, I have been a part of this community with Purium for 5 years now and a part of the Million Mom Movement as a council member for actually a year. This month, it marks my 1 year anniversary as a council member. I'm also joined tonight by my fellow council member, Naiva Flory. She is one of our founding council members, and she's been a part of the Purium community for over 10 years. In tonight's presentation, we're really excited to share with you some resources that you can use over the holiday season and specifically celebrating or recognizing people who are on the autism spectrum or a part of the neurodivergent community. Because we know that the holiday season can be very overwhelming for everyone, but especially our loved ones that are on the spectrum. So we want to be able to use our stories and some resources that we have to empower you to make this season feel supportive and peaceful and as nourishing as it can be for everyone. So before we get into today's presentation, we always start with our pledge. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up the pledge. If anyone that is on would like to volunteer to read it, please raise your virtual hand and we'll call on you to unmute. So let me go ahead and share. Oh, Megan, perfect.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, exciting. I get to read the pledge. I've never done this yet, so this is exciting. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. And I'm committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan, for reading. And before you go, if you could just take a few minutes and share what this movement means to you and your family.
The movement means everything to me. I mean, it makes me feel safe to know that we have these incredible, clean, organic, safe superfoods providing to myself, knowing that I'm, giving this to my family, my clients, just in the world today where there are so many, everything is so toxic. The food that we eat is so toxic. Our environment is so toxic. It is incredibly important and means a lot to me that we have this at our fingertips, these superfoods that we can trust. So I'm very happy with being here. So thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing. And I love that you said that it makes you feel safe, right? I think that's such a beautiful way to think about what we have and to think about what we can share, with others to help them feel safe during such an uncertain time in the world. And like you said, with our food and just everything that's happening. So I love that you use that choice of words, and it's something that we can all remember to, keep in the back of our minds. And if you're joining us, for the first time, we are the Million Mom Movement. Let me go to my next slide. Here we go. Yeah, so if you're joining us for the first time, we're the Million Mom Movement, and mom actually stands for movement of many. So whether you are a mom, a dad, a caregiver, an educator, influencer, or maybe just someone who has a passion for helping others become the best version of themselves, we truly welcome you to our community because that's really what we stand for. That's our mission. And we know that when we come together as a community and we share our voices and our resources, we can truly make an impact on future generations to come. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Naiva, and you can share more about our presentation tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for opening this call up for us, Dominique. And thank you all for being here with us. And Megan, thank you for sharing and opening up about our pledge here. And what we're really wanting to do is just spread this mission far and wide. And when we talk about a seat at the table, we're talking about more than just a physical chair. We're talking about belonging. We're talking about being understood. We're talking about creating an environment where our loved ones on the spectrum don't just get through the family gathering, but can actually enjoy them. And so often the challenges that arise during holidays and celebrations, or even casual family dinners, aren't due to lack of love. It's simply a lack of awareness. And so when we begin to understand the sensory world through their eyes, everything shifts. And suddenly we can anticipate the needs before the stress builds up. We can respond instead of react, and we can create space where everyone feels honored and respected. So today it's about empowering you with that awareness, and we'll explore what overstimulation really looks like and how to recognize early signs of distress. So without further ado, I'd love to bring my dear friend on. She is an amazing mother of two vibrant daughters. She is the proud wife of Dave Sandoval and the president of the Awaken Project Foundation. And Anna Marie comes from a background working as a behavioral specialist for kids on the autism spectrum for over a decade now. And so she's really passionate about teaching and learning from children. It's one of her greatest passions, and she's devoted to this mission of healing for families and the rising awareness and knowledge in the neurodiverse community. So, Anna Marie, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Naiva sister. Thank you for always hosting here with the Million Mom Movement and holding this really, really safe, as Megan was saying, and very inspiring and secure space for people to get to learn more and really feel their voices be heard and feel seen and feel the togetherness and the community that we have here, because it can tend to feel lonely out there in our big grand world. And so it's really good to get together once a month at this time to be able to share with each other, hear with each other, and bring a little bit of Purium resources and knowledge. It's always such a pleasure. So thank you to everybody that is joining us here on the call. And thank you again, Naiva, for holding us here today. And thank you, Dominique, for your very beautiful introduction. It was beautiful to hear you today. And thank you, Megan, again, for your pledge. I love what you said also, like Dominique was saying about feeling safe. I think that is, one of the core things that is actually what a lot of what our children's nervous systems and bodies are really looking for most of the time. So that was a really essential kind of part that you tied in there. So thank you very much. But yes, with no further ado, I'll start chatting a little bit with you guys about just some really helpful ways that you could support your kiddos on the spectrum. And this could be helpful for adults too. But for this topic, I have a few that might be helping our children as they're going to family events that their parents are maybe choosing. As adults, well, sometimes you might feel like you have to go see certain people and be at certain places. But for kiddos, a lot of the time, there really is, no choice. You got to go to these dinners and family events, and maybe it's something that everybody wants to go to, but even if there's a desire, it doesn't mean that it can't be a little bit much sometimes on everybody's nervous system or sensory bodies. So some of the ways that are really helpful actually begin way before going to an actual gathering or being at a dinner table or going to a loved one's house or just meeting up with people for celebrating. A lot of it is, preparing our people and ourselves so that we can expect what's going to happen and be able to prepare our sensory bodies, because a lot of what people see as behavior or things that children are doing are usually actually ways they're trying to regulate their bodies when they're overstimulated, but they just don't know how yet. So sometimes being prepared also can, and knowing what's going to take place and what's going on, can be a really big way that we're able to process things, and then our body isn't trying to also begin trying to create a safety zone for not knowing what's coming. It can focus on our body's regulation and not trying to think about what's coming, what's coming. So a lot of ways we could do this is even talking to our kids about who's going to be at dinner. Maybe you could show them a little picture book about the different people that are going to be attending dinner. You can show some pictures on your phone, screenshot it, and have a little slide of the different people that are going to be attending dinner. You could talk about to your kids the different kinds of foods that they're going to be smelling and what they're going to be having, and even talk about, whatever guidelines you're going to have for them. So, oh, well, Auntie Jenny might be bringing sweet potatoes, and so might be bringing this. And this is what you could eat, though, if you're not liking any of those things. And you can really tell them what they're going to be seeing, what they're going to be hearing, who they're going to be seeing. And giving these kinds of heads up relieves a lot of different unknowns and mysterious things that can cause anxiety for our little ones or our adult ones or anybody. I think being able to be in the know helps a lot. And not even just letting your kid know, but if you feel able to communicate with those that you're gathering with, hopefully you could give them a little bit of a heads up of some things that might come up for your kiddo and ways that you guys could work together to help them. So if you have food sensitivities and food allergies or certain things, scents that really trigger your kiddo to be able to not eat their own food, you could possibly ask for a heads up and ask for a little grace. Hey, do you think we could skip on that dish for this year? And maybe I could, bring this as an alternative or something along those lines, because I know sometimes it can be really hard if there's something at the center of your table, even if your kid knows that they can't have it, if they can see it and they're able to grab for it, you don't want to be trying to like be the gatekeeper of Aunt Cindy's dish that your kid loves but can't have because it has something that's going to be super allergic for them or really set their system off. So these kinds of ways you could really actually ask in advance if you could have a little bit of a bypass for things like that. And if it isn't available, being able to bring certain foods that your kid can eat and having those readily available, different things like that can really help. Also, with having all of those scents, another little tip or tool that could be really useful is having a little scent or something that they could smell that has a pre-known scent, a little lavender oil on a piece of cloth or something like that, so that when the scents around them are becoming too overwhelming, they can really tune back into that and bring a little bit of safety back into their body. And there are a lot of different little tips and tools that we could go into. And if you have any questions on those, and when we have a little bit more time, I'll jump back into ways we can prepare our kids on a all sensory kind of level. But one really big tool that I'm super excited to share with you guys that kind of ties in pretty much all of them is our re-releasing, because we got to have it before and now it's back, is, if you guys haven't heard yet, our chill spray from Purium. And this little bottle, this little magic in a bottle, it's calm in your pocket, I guess we would say. And it is our new chill spray that, whoops, sorry about that. Got a little notification. That really helps to calm the nervous system, as well as bring our body a strong dose of relaxation and relieving of anxiety. So even if you have prepared yourself maybe and done all the things to take the steps to have a smooth, easy going visit with a gathering of people and loved ones, maybe, it just isn't going that way. And we're really excited to have chill spray because it really is a sudden calming wave on the body. And I'll tell you a little bit about what's in it and why it does this. But just from my own personal experience, as a family, we have all been super wowed and in big gratitude for this chill spray that my daughter is like, oh, well, don't worry. If something happens, we'll take our chill spray when we have been planning different things this week. So it is an action-packed for quality and ingredient, but it is bringing us a super calm and relaxation that we could all use in times of distress. So if you're going to a gathering, you could take this chill spray before you go. You could take it while you're there. You could also take it after to come down from the wave of the gatherings, because that is also a big deal. Is sometimes us and our kids, we are superstars. Our gathering, our event, our activity, whatever have you, went amazing. There were no hiccups, no meltdowns, no crashes. But you get home and suddenly, oh my, a tsunami has hit and everybody is crashing at once because everybody held it all together during the gathering, but we're home in our safe spot and the body thinks, oh, I am ready to let down and feel it all. And sometimes it can be a lot for it all to come at once. So having a tool in your pocket like the chill spray is super essential because you could have it at any time, before, after, and during, to help get through some big waves of anxiety and nervousness. And what it is made of, really, it is made with GABA and L-theanine. And to explain a little bit about what those two things are and why this is so magically helping our bodies calm down, is GABA is is an inhibitor for the neurotransmissions in the brain. So it's really like it's putting on the brakes for your nervous system. It functions kind of like the chemical messenger gatekeeper, preventing any nerve cells from going too fast and firing too much all at once. It really helps the speed of transfer. So I guess picture your brain pathways like the freeway, and our GABA is the speed police. And any of those brain neurons that are really flashing way too fast, firing too much, causing too much of a buildup, which causes the anxiety and the nervousness, they're going to prohibit those from going too fast and slow things down, slowing down the entire central nervous system without causing any drowsiness or a brain fogginess. It's really just a slowing, not a stopping. And then we have the L-theanine in there also contributing to helping a deep relaxation and helping our anxiety, because it is an amino acid, and it's a certain one that really helps. It's an essential acid that really helps to apply to our nervous system. And if you add it also with ionic elements in a daily addition to what you're doing, the magnesium in combination with that also is a really true nervous system healer. And it would be a great combination for going to gatherings and really trying to keep a calm in our bodies, which calm in our bodies, calm in our minds, calm in our emotions for the most part. And I would like to open it up for anybody that has any questions. I know sometimes I can get a little excited and take things too far in too many directions too quick. So if anybody has any questions about anything, please feel free to raise your hands. If not, I'll continue on a little bit more about how we can prepare ourselves and a little bit more about chill spray too. I can't, for some reason, can't see.
Alice has her hand raised. I'll go ahead and
Okay.
okay. Hi, Alice. Oh,
There we go. Can you
there
hear
you
me?
go.
I
Yes.
just had a question. How young can you give the chill spray to, age-wise? Oh, did you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. We have given it to our 18-month-old, and so really it's just about learning the dosage. So the dosage on the bottle is generally for an adult at about an average of 100 pounds. So just with that information, then kind of putting to your knowledge of the size of child that you're giving it to and how much you would give it, but it is safe for children, babies,
Awesome.
young ones.
Thank
I
Thank
wouldn't say
you.
under a year, because I think that goes into like baby, but I'd say for a year and up. Good question.
And Megan has her hand raised too. Anne Marie, I'll go ahead and ask her to unmute.
Hi,
Yes.
so I'm so excited about the chill spray. So how long does it take for the chill spray to take effect? Is it immediate, and does it work better when used over time so that it's like healing the body as well? And then the other question I had was also the age, and you answered that. So thank you.
Yes. I believe, and Dave might correct me if I'm wrong in further addition to this video, but I believe that it's not something that stays in your system, so that it would be the longer you take it, the more it would work. I believe that you can take it and it's more of like in the moment rather than I continually take it, so it's healing on a long-term basis. And then could you remind me of the first part of the question that you asked about it?
Just how long it takes for it to take effect. Like, is it immediate? You'll see
That's
it right
right.
away. Yeah.
It's pretty quickly. I would say in about 10 to 20 minutes. If not quicker than that. I know that I felt it pretty quickly, and so did my daughter. Dave said he feels it pretty quickly too, and so I'd say that size-wise, that's very variable, but we all felt it pretty quickly.
Thank you so much. I'm actually really excited about the ingredients because I, study kids on the spectrum, ADHD. It's what I do for work. And I have been seeing that the research shows that those ingredients over time use, that's why I was asking about it in the chill spray specifically, but over time use also is very healing on mental health. So, and like emotional regulation. So I'm so excited to try it out. And I was really curious if I guess we'll know as we go and use it, like the longer term effects of it as well. So we'll have to play with that one.
Yes, well, I think that the more that we can heal our nervous system on a momentum basis, right? So if we're going to have more healed and less stressed moments in our days, then our nervous system, right, is going to then become more healed in the longer term, versus if we're having distress days over and over and over, our nervous system is going to continually be facing the same battles, right? But if we have something like this that is helping soothe our nervous system on a daily basis, then I believe it does on a long-term basis then really help heal the nervous system. And I'm so glad, yes, that you are have that knowledge and are able to apply it, because I've been seeing the same thing, and it's one of the reasons I'm personally so excited as well. It's such a great tool. And a couple other points of it that I want to bring up, piggybacking off of that, is also the flavor of the chill spray. So like you were saying, I've been trying, I know that a lot of parents, caregivers, therapists in this community are looking for a product, that is fitting for their person or their people. And it can be tough with taste, especially with kiddos who have sensitivities and really particular tastes and things. I'm actually pretty particular too. And I loved the flavor of this. It's this really yummy, like tangy, sweet, tangerine really yummy flavor. And it's almost kind of like a sour candy. It's sweet and sour at the same time. And one thing that I noticed that I think is going to be really helpful and profound for our autism community is a lot of our people on the spectrum need to kind of awaken their mouth to really get it like say hello and start to get it alive. And this spray with the flavor, it really is a burst of uh I'm losing my words right now, but it's a huge burst in your mouth, and it wakens up your whole system. And I know that that also really helps the brain start firing communication a lot easier. So it's a lot of different things that lot of different ways that this chill spray is an advantage to helping our bodies sustain a more soothed and calm nervous system. And when we have a calm nervous system, our bodies feel safe, right? It's finally finding safety in our bodies, and when we can find safety, then we're able to focus on other things, talking and doing our superpower interests and really shining when we aren't having to constantly regulate and find ways to soothe ourselves. So this is a big one. I'm really excited. Were there any other, thank you again, Megan. And are there any other questions?
I'm not sure if there's any more questions, but I did want to add to that, just for anyone that's listening. I know this is also recording for our YouTube channel that, we can't make any medical claims or anything. And I know that don't want to use the verbiage heal or cure, any of those types of language, when it comes to sharing what we have, because what we have is food, it's, nourishment, and we know how supportive it can be to the body. But I just wanted to make that clarity, and also just share, as we continue to share our stories and raise our hands, that we're mindful of the verbiage we use to protect, the integrity of what we have with this company.
Yes, thank you so much, Dominique. That is extremely helpful and extremely needed, and thank you. And yes, we do not claim any acts of healing or recommendations, just suggestions of what we've experienced and from what we are learning and know. So thank you so much, Dominique. Super important, and really appreciate that. And if there is not any other questions, then I want to go on a little bit more, just last little bit here on the chill spray, of it also being that it is something that can help relieve anxiety and nervous and bring a calm, but it can also really be supportive for those who may be experiencing a depression or negative, obtrusive thoughts constantly coming in. And that can also happen to a lot of people who are neurodivergent. That can be something that is a big struggle. And part of what GABA does is it it breaks the negative thought patterns that continually, I believe they're called pervasive negative thought patterns. So the GABA really helps to break that cycle of the negative thought patterns that can produce a lot of the anxiety or depressed feelings or having trouble with sleep or insomnia because of everything that's going on in our mind that we can't stop thinking about. So it can be also a really great aid for before bedtime. And I think that we're coming, let's see where we are with time. One thing that I wasn't expecting to hear at all, because we have focused and we're so excited about what this does for the calm in the moment. But the morning after we all got to try this, Dave brought it home and had us get to try it in a moment of need. It wasn't like, oh, hey, this is here was trying it. We were all having a little bit of a whole family meltdown of our own. And after lots of traveling, and this was brought to us, and it super helped all of us. All four of us became really down to a super sorry, my little one just came in. Say hi. We all just came to a really calm wave along the shore instead of the tidal wave that we were cruising on. And one of the things that my daughter said the next morning when we were talking about it, my older daughter, not this one, she said, "Hey, Mom, the chill spray made me not have any nightmares." And we have been struggling a little bit with her having some nightmares, and we've been trying to figure out what was maybe causing them. And I've been learning that it's actually going to bed with certain anxieties and things like that. And so to learn from her without it, any sort of prompting or anything, just her saying, wow, that made me not have any nightmares, was a really huge, big deal for us. I was super, super happy because, waking up from nightmares as a little one, or for anybody, sorry about that, can, lead to a rough day leading when you wake up from having a hard night in your dreams. It doesn't really start your day off too well. So to be able to have something that helps her, even we thought to ourselves, even if it's like a placebo kind of thing, that she has something that she's like, wow, this is gonna help me with my nightmares and da da da. Like that's kind of, it's not a placebo, she did it herself, but or like said herself that they were gone. But it's really cool that there's something she can say, this is my special potion that makes me have good dreams at night. And so we're really thankful as a personal family over here for Chill Spray, and we're really thankful for what it could bring to support our loved ones on the autism spectrum through the holidays and through all of their days. And if there's any questions more about Chill Spray, I'd love to answer them. If there's not, I would love to continue to talk a little bit more about ways that you could, other than Chill Spray, help your kiddos on the spectrum during holidays. Some of the things that you could do during your dinners or meals, whichever time of the day that they are, or gatherings, some things that you can bring along for your kiddo along with your Chill Spray. If they are going to be needing to sit at a table, you can't really get away from if it's not a possibility that they can have their own movement, there are certain little seat pads that can be found for different sizes that you could place under their chair that would help them to have a little bit of their own fidget and movement within their seat, providing them with some more sensory regulation in their body, that they might be overwhelmed with all the energies and different foods and smells going on. And it can be hard for any of us to need to sit down for a long period of time. So some of these mats, they're like inflated a little bit, and they have different textures depending on what your person might desire, because all of us have different sensory things that bother us or that help soothe us. So those kind of little mats can also be super helpful during a dinner. If you have any buddy that is needing their different hand fidgets, you can create a lot of different, depending on what they like, different types of bracelets and necklaces, and even different things that you could put on their jacket pocket for kiddos to have access to something to play with their hands, and versus wanting to grab a lot of different things on the table. And if they have something to replace, because it could be really hard just to be kept telling, no, don't touch this, no, don't touch this, no, don't touch this. So if you have a few things, if you can put together a wee little bag of items of little things that they personally would really like to touch and play with that their hands could be on. So you can kind of be filling your bag up with little yeses to prepare for balancing yourself out from any no's or don't touch this or don't do that kind of things at dinner tables. And in the moment, another tool that could be really helpful is if you are able to create a lot of people have an OT or PT or different therapists that they're working with, or you could totally do it on your own. You could create a little tiny visual that could be kept in the pocket of you or your little one, and you could pull that visual out. It could be kind of depending on what your day is going to be like. It could be a little visual reminder of what's going to happen. Like, okay, we're here at dinner, then we're going to go home and we're going to do this. And you could kind of pull that out and remind your kiddo, okay, we're here till this time, and then we're going to go do this, and then we're going to do this. And, maybe if you even have a little song that you create for you and your child, sometimes we have one and we call it like our little safety song. My daughter likes to make up songs for everything. So say hi, you got into some markers. So we'll create some little songs sometimes for us that if in the moment we're needing a little extra security, we can sing that little song, and in it, and the words of it really has an application of whatever's going on in that. So say it's little Mikey, and he loves Elmo, and you are trying to comfort Mikey, who is really wanting to go home, but you still have another 45 minutes because dessert is being put out and grandma needs to say bye to everybody, and it's going to be a minute. So you could create a little song about Elmo and Mikey, and Elmo's gonna be waiting for a minute. Elmo's gonna be hanging tight for a minute. In the meantime, he can hold mommy's hand. Just different little things that if you put directions to a lyric, it seems to go in the ear and into the heart instead of in the ear and out of the ear, like a lot of our directions and requests can do with our kiddos, whether they're on the spectrum or not on the spectrum when you're going out. But hearing things in a lyrical form for our kiddos who are already overstimulated can really help them to better hear us of what we're saying and want to flow with what we're saying versus hearing a direction. And it can also, putting it in a song, really help us as parents. I know that if I'm getting close to my edge because I'm feeling like nobody's following directions and things are going to collateral damage land, if I start to sing, whatever's happening, it changes my own energy and it changes the kids' energy because they're suddenly like, wow, mommy's singing and laughing about what we're doing instead of being edgy with me about getting my socks and shoes on. So adding a song can really help. And also, if you're able to have a timer, whether your kid is able to wear a watch or wear a watch around their neck, or if they're able to look at a watch of yours, having a visual timer for kids can really help in whatever you're setting the timer for, whether it's 15 minutes until we're getting in the car to go to Grammy's house, or whether it's setting it for 6 minutes until dinner is going to be served, 30 minutes until we get to go home. Having a visual timer expectation can really help our kiddos on the spectrum. And sometimes it could be as simple as seeing the clock and, setting like an iPhone little timer. I have experienced it was quite a while back, but there are some different apps that are visual timers, and you can even choose like what your kiddo, if they like trains, you can pick a train. If they like dogs, there's a little dog. They have different variations, and it's a picture that is starts off blank, and then as the timer is going on, it creates the picture. And these kinds of timers or different kinds of timers can be really helpful for them to be motivated to look at. Okay, just a little bit. Can be really helpful to, maybe you want to play with this. Can be really helpful. Give me just 1 second. They can be really helpful during transitions and during gatherings, and the combination of having different tools too. So if you have different little fidgets, if you have a pad on their chair, if you're able to prep them ahead of time, all these kinds of things put together can be really helpful. Even if you're able to just get one, it can make a big difference. And so I hope some of those are helpful. I have a lot more. I'm not sure where we're at with timing, but I also want to leave continued space with questions. So if anybody has questions, please feel free to raise your hand. And if not, then I can give a few more handy tips that could really help us out during these holidays, these holy days, these sometimes challenging days for some of us. Another way that we can really support our kiddos on the spectrum before we go into the holidays is also setting up kind of little mini calendars for them and being able to count down with them when those holidays are coming. So some kids like to know a whole like month in advance. Some kids knowing in a whole month in advance will totally stress out, even if it's in an excited way, like way too much excitement for that kind of countdown. So sometimes even just a few days before, having a little calendar showing this is what we're doing today, this is what we're doing tomorrow, this is the day we're going to go for a drive over to Uncle and Auntie's house for our special dinner. So being able to continually prep them with what's coming is also really, really helpful. Sorry, since I'm bouncing around a little bit, I hope it's not confusing anybody. Another way that we can really give a benefit to our kiddos is if we prepare our families on that are going to be joining us, not just of like foods and cooking and sensory things, but sometimes we're seeing people we haven't seen in a couple years or that we don't talk to very often, or maybe our kiddo is pre-verbal and doesn't have a lot to say, but here's everything. And so if we don't have a lot of experience as the family members to know what Johnny or what Mary likes, then they won't feel like they have a lot of conversation to maybe make with your kiddo and a lot of ways to connect. So giving some helpful clues and ways to your family members on how to connect with your kids, even if they're unique ways, is really helpful to help everybody feel included, because sometimes people just don't know how to connect. And so rather than trying and making a mistake, they don't try. And so sometimes giving a helpful hand to our family members, our friends, about how to connect with our kids, giving them little insights to what they like or little jokes they might appreciate, or something that could really help your kid feel seen when suddenly Uncle Billy is like, "Hey, Jim, I know that you like trains. Have you seen my choo-choo?" Like, I don't know. And he busts out some choo-choo train like move. And the little guy is just like, "Whoa, I've never seen anybody make that expression. Look at how fun his face is. I think I want to actually look at him and see what he's got going on here for me." Versus maybe most of the time that kid is looking the other way, trying to avoid all the energies. But when we open the door and an invitation of sharing the same interest, our kids really feel that. And it can be challenging for family members and friends to do that if they don't get time to usually spend with your kid to get to know them. And sometimes we forget, with everything, the endless to-do list of things to prepare, to even think about that small kind of detail. But a small detail like that can really change an entire family gathering for your kiddo, with feeling really seen by and welcomed and in a like comedy, fun, happy place with somebody that maybe they've never really interacted too much with. And it can be really rewarding too for us as parents to get to see our kids interact with our family members, especially when we felt like maybe it's been a challenge before. To suddenly see that little light of bonding is really such a happiness on the heart. It's part of the best part of the holidays, right? So if we can clue our people in, or bring things even that our family members can do with the kids, if it's something maybe that is a tangible item that somebody can play with them and interact with them, open that door for them and encourage play from all areas, because it can be easy to forget that part in our adult worlds. And I do it myself all the time. So just that could really help too. And let's see, I have a couple more here that I wanted to share. In the planning ahead, I hope and pray that all of us could give ourselves so much grace, and giving ourselves the ability to say no, because sometimes everything gets packed in really big, and if we choose to try to do everything, they all get really messy. But if we can maybe just choose one big event and then take a couple days before we go to another big event, you could successfully have that one event, possibly, instead of, if we're clamoring too many things into a short time period, uh, be because we feel the pressure that we need to do it all. Or
Oops, I think her service may have cut out, but she was on a roll there. So let's give her a minute to hop back on. And if anybody has anything that you'd like to share on that topic that she was sharing on, I know that we do have some parents here and people that have hands-on experience. So if you want to come on and share a little bit, love to open it up while we wait for Anna Marie to get back on. I think the main point she was getting at is giving ourselves grace, because a lot of times we can get overwhelmed and stressed with everything that's going on. And as much as we get stressed, our whole, we can stress out our children, our family members as well. And so communication is a great part of the equation, but just being able to take a deep breath for your own self when you're feeling stressed, and then also encouraging our little ones if they're feeling stressed too. I know that for my son, when he was younger, he would get anxious, especially if the schedule or the plan changed. And so when plans change or unexpected things are happening, sometimes it can be stressful. Sometimes maybe we're in a hurry because we're running late. That can be stressful. And so one of the things that my son's therapist taught him was to have a cup of hot cocoa. And so he would hold his cups like this in front of him and he would blow on it. And it's a great technique to calm anybody down, even yourself. But especially because we're going into the holidays and hot cocoa is in season right now. So, just having a few deep breaths and blowing on your hot cocoa to cool it down. And it can be a fun, interactive way to calm ourselves down, to calm our little ones down. Maybe we need to take a deep breath with them. And so you say, okay, we're going to have a cup of hot cocoa, and you put your hands like this and you go, okay, we're going to do 3 deep breaths and blow on our hot cocoa to cool it down. And so you just do that with them, right? And as you're doing that, you're calming your nervous system. and you're calming their nervous system. I think an important part of the equation is to do it with them so that they feel like it's an inclusive little game that we're doing together. Like Anna Marie said, really getting on their level, getting playful, being able to really communicate with them in that way where we're getting on their level. For real, how we're communicating, making it playful, making it fun, singing with them. All of these are really great tips. And I don't see Anna Marie back on yet, but does anybody else have any tips or anything you'd like to share before we close out in a few minutes? Megan, can I call on you? I know you've been a mama for many years. Do you have any experience you'd like to share?
Thank you. Sure. I mean, I'll piggyback off what you're saying because, there's so many things, but truly, when you're working on yourself first, like what I notice it really helps is the mindset of your children are not having or giving you a hard time. They're not giving you a hard time. They're having a hard time. And so if we can just be mindful of that and then to notice yourself, am I having a hard time? I don't want to give my child a hard time back. That's not going to help anything. So my child's having a hard time right now. Okay, maybe I'm having a hard time right now. So let's together take some space. Space is always, take some space for 1 minute and I love the hot cocoa, do a tool that's going to help you breathe and come back. But yeah, our kids they're not really wanting to give us a hard time in those moments, even though it can seem like it. I was working with a client today, in fact, who was, we were talking about, when our kids say things that are really hurtful, the jabs, like, I hate you. That's a big one. Like, and it hurts our heart, or like things that come up. It really, all the behaviors and those things that kids say in those moments, especially around like holidays and family gatherings when we really don't want them to be saying those things, those behaviors are just communication. It's a communication of our kids don't know how to say when they're small, and especially if they're on the spectrum too, they don't know how to say, this is feeling really achy in my body. My body isn't feeling right now. I feel really emotionally dysregulated. They don't know how to say these things. And so it just comes out as, I'm not getting my way, right? So some screaming or yelling or saying things that are hurtful. So not taking it personally, and to know that their prefrontal cortex is not developed all of the way either. And then when we have ADHD or autism or things and emotional dysregulation going on top of that, it's really hard for kids to think logically and know what they're doing in the moment. So just working on being mindful so that we're not taking it so personally and then ending up reacting ourselves as parents. Hopefully that's helpful. That's what I got for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is fabulous. And something to just remind ourselves, right? Like our children aren't trying to upset us. They're not trying to be mean. Sometimes we don't know how to regulate our own emotions, even as parents, right? Sometimes we react, and that's really important, like Megan said, is to not have that reaction, but to have our own level-headedness, our own nervous system regulated so that we don't also jump on the bandwagon with the tantrum, because we all know that that's not going to go anywhere. We are the parents, right? We're the older person in the situation that has to stay regulated and stay in control of our emotions. As hard as that can be, it takes practice every time. But the more we remind ourselves, in those moments of like, okay, take a few deep breaths. Let's have our hot cocoa together. Let's have a few deep breaths. Let's talk about the situation. How can we, why is it like if they're saying that they hate you, why is it that you hate me right now? What is it that I did, or what could I do differently, right? Maybe we didn't tie the shoes the right way, or maybe that's not the jacket they want to wear, right? It's coming from somewhere, and it's not necessarily what they're communicating to you. So I think that's really important that we learn to balance our own nervous systems so that we can better help support everybody else that we're supporting. So anything else you want to add, Megan? Oh, let me unmute you again. I see you're looking for your unmute button.
I just want to say I'm so grateful, honestly, for these calls. I think this is such an important, a wonderful resource for parents and families. And I'm so excited for these calls to continue. So I just want to tell you guys how amazing you are, and to say thank you for doing these.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, and thank you everybody for being here. And of course, if this is your first time attending one of our community action calls, we want to encourage you to reach back out to the person that shared this presentation with you, because they shared it with you because they love and care about you and want you to have access to the best nutrition for yourself and your family. And our whole community is here to help support you. And so we'd love to invite you to like our Facebook page where these events are posted for our weekly presentations. Next week is Thanksgiving, so we will not be having this weekly presentation next Thursday. So please mark it off your calendar. You can also join our Facebook community group, Million Mom Movement Official. That's where these replays are posted, as well as so many other resources. And that's where our community comes together. So please, as part of our community, go share your stories in there, go share your excitement in there, go share, your testimonials or recipes or whatever you feel like would benefit the community. Just make sure that it is a community group. So don't share your gift card codes in there or anything. Also follow us on Instagram, tag us on your posts and stories. I'd love to feature you on our social media. So please don't forget to tag us. And then of course, I saw a few people asking where to find the replays. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have over 300 replays there. And you can also really, we have some playlists, so you can go through the playlist. We have a whole playlist for all the presentations in regards to autism and people on the spectrum. And so you can go and just grab that whole playlist to watch or share with somebody. You can also use the YouTube as a resource and type in Million Mom Movement and any keyword that you're looking for, and there will likely be a presentation for you. So right here, you can see our presentations for December. This will be our topics. So go ahead and take a screenshot if you'd like to. Also, the QR code at the bottom of the screen, if you want to scan it, it will take you to our link tree, which is also on our Instagram link in bio. And you'll have the links to all of our recipe books, to our YouTube channel, and all of our social sites. So go ahead and scan that code real quick before we close out. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody for coming and being here with us today. Each and every one of you is a part of this movement, and we appreciate you being here. And